going on, guys? Today we've got some, so let me turn this down a little bit, some coverage of the Week 4 games from Rother's Tour. I just woke up, so this may not be the greatest, but I did need to get this video done by the end of the week, so I figured why not record it now. So the first game we've got is Chess Robot versus Lost in Translations. Chess is bringing some pretty wavy offense versus another offensive looking team with Kingler. So let's just get right into it. So Chess leads off with Latios, as Lost in Translations leads off with Lando. I actually haven't watched this whole game yet, so this is going to be a little new for me. Mega Alakazam looks really good into this, and as long as Magnezone takes out Scizor, it looks pretty good for Lost in Translations. That being said, Latios is pretty threatening to pretty much everything. I don't know the Chomp set yet, so, you know, Gyarados is pretty good after Dragon Dance, and I guess after KB is removed as well. But let's just get right into it. So Clef comes out on the Latios. It goes for Surf, doing a good bit of damage into that Clefable. Excadrill comes in, and Lost in Translations doubles it into the Landorus. Chess goes to Gyarados, as Landorus goes for Stealth Rock. Chess goes for Sub. Okay, interesting. Ice Beam comes out. Chess immediately goes for Bounce. Okay. Oh wow, okay, so he subs on the Lando again. He probably DDs here, it's pretty free. He bounces again, trying to kill that Kyurem Black. This is a pretty good situation for Chess right now. He pairs the KB, even better, oh my god. He Dragon Dances once again. Oh, I know where this is going. I'm pretty sure this Kyurem is going to stay parried for a while. Well, I mean, obviously it's going to stay parried. What do I say? Jesus, it is 8 a.m. But it's going to be parried. I think Chess is going to get a couple boosts out of it. And there isn't really a Gyarados answer here. Well, he has answers, but nothing that can beat it behind the sub at boosted. So you know what I mean. He bounces again, as the KB goes for the Fusion Bolt. Just goes for the bounce. Does a nice 61 to that KB. And it switches out, which I think is a little weird. I would think you try and keep it in and just keep breaking the sub. And then maybe Magnezone comes in and forces it out. I don't know. Landorus comes in on that waterfall. And he goes for a U-turn. And the Kingler comes in. The knockoff breaks the Gyarados' sub, but the Kingler is Life Orb. So Chess can abuse the fact that he has so many Life Orb mons with the Gyarados. He can sub up and basically chip them with their own move. Excuse me. And by that he lowers them to get them in range of Bounce or Waterfall. So, which is what he's doing here, except the Kingler actually ends up going for Agility. Then his Gyarados goes for Dragon Dance, as the Kingler goes for Agility again, but still isn't getting outsped. But the bounce misses. Then he goes back into Landorus, but obviously Chess is going to go for sub, trying to get that Kingler low for the waterfall. And Gyarados just Dragon Dances again, and he knows his Landorus can't hit him because it would have hit him earlier if he could. And the waterfall does nice 73 to Clef and flinches. Just amazing for Chess. How'd you manage to do so much damage? I'm not aware. The Gyarados obviously wins here. Yeah, that flinch on Alakazam was mighty unfortunate, but I don't think Kazan was KOing back ever, and the Magnezone was already at 1 HP, so... The game at this point is pretty much won because KB and Magnezone are so chipped. Kingler can't Life Orb through everything, especially when it has to be Gyarados first. So, did that flinch matter? Obviously, yeah, it helps a lot. But when there's so many other things that Kingler has to run through, and then Scizor can clean up with Bullet Punch when Kingler's low, I think at this point, the game was already won. So yeah. As we see, goes for SD. Just still try to get it low. Yep, Chess wins the game pretty cleanly. Pretty good game by Chess. I think if he was doing what I said, you know, trying to get things low via Life Orb, and then racking up boosts with sub, which it seems like he did pretty well, then I think that was a perfectly played game by Chess. So yeah. Next we'll go into my game versus the Jester. So you see that I brought a pretty janky stall team with Mew, Clefable, Chansey, Mega Charizard Y, Physically Defensive Tingle, and Scarf Keldeo. So the idea of this team is to keep Sun up, so that your Clefable can Moonlight, which is really good for it. You get damage mostly through burns on Mew. You can force things like Bisharp out with Scarf Keldeo. You can revenge fast Volt Switchers like Manectric pretty easily with Keldeo as well. So I actually wasn't too concerned about this matchup going into preview. I was like, you know, is it hard because he has Bisharp and Keldeo and Mega Manectric? Obviously, yes. But I knew I could do this. I had Sleep Powder Tangrowth to put anything to sleep. He doesn't have a grass type. So I wasn't actually too concerned about this game. So I lead off with my Keldeo. And I wanted to see how much it would do to Manectric, but that actually never kills since I'm Scarfed. And he just gets a free Volt Switch here. And here he goes right into Bisharp as I go into my Tangrowth. He goes for the knockoff, and it only does about 36. And here's a crucial turn, I think. So he goes into Heatran, and I miss the Sleep Powder here, which is a lot worse than it sounds. You know, it's not the end of the world yet, it's not the end of the game or anything, but having that Heatran asleep would have been huge for me. I would have been able to go into Keldeo and force progress into Latias, because, for example, his Keldeo nor his Landorus is a good answer. And then if he goes Manectric, which he won't because I haven't been revealed yet, I'm actually Scarfed if he doesn't think I'm Choice Specs. I also get progress into Latias since that is his main answer, and yeah. So the Heatran misses on my Mega Charizard Y, and I go for the Focus Blast, just trying to damage it. I don't hit the Latias. This kind of matters. You'll see later on why, but it's not too big. So the Chansey comes out and it goes for the Psyshock. It doesn't really do much to my Chansey. I think I got Rocks up here, did I not? Yeah, I got Rocks up. And I soft boiled my Chansey. I want to keep it pretty healthy for Manectric and Latias. As I go into my own Mew. And I get that Synchronize into Landorus. So, another thing that's kind of sucky. This Ice Beam, at least Divine told me, was a roll into this Landorus. I'm 0 special attack Mew, and obviously we can't know his Landorus set for sure, but Divine told me that this was in my favor to kill this there. So, you know, he was dead to rocks no matter what, but not taking this, sorry. There you go. Not taking the U-turn chip here would have been very nice. So yeah, another unfortunate thing in the game, but still at this point in the game, I think I can win it, you know? And so here's actually my first mistake. I think instead of soft boiling here, I probably should have just gotten damage into Manectric. That way I could have revenge killed with Keldeo. Instead I decided to keep my Mew, which I don't think was the best. And here's where it's like, okay, maybe this game isn't winnable. The Bishop pursues my Chansey, which does about 41, which is pretty big, because now my Chansey can't really check anything he has left. And my Tangrowth comes out and goes for the knockoff. I missed another Sleep Powder, which is unfortunate. And then I get flinched, which obviously sucks. So I decided to sack my Mew. It's not really good for anything anymore, so... And the Tangrowth is still pretty solid, especially with Sun Up, to be able to check Keldeo. So I go into my Clefable, he goes for Psyshock. As I go for the Moonlight. And I bring in my Chansey, and it's Cannon, which means my Clef is never going to beat this. So I go for the Secret Sword. And I think I just went back into Clefable here. I get some Chip and Heatran. He Magmas my Keldeo. And I get some more progress in the Latias. And I decided to read a Draco, or not a Draco, sorry, like an Ice Beam or something. And I decided not to let that risk my Clef dying, but instead he just goes for Psyshock again, which only does 20, so I'm like, okay, I'm chilling. And then he crits me. So I was not chilling. So I decided to Moonlight, and I go into my Mega Charizard Y, because I feel like a Scald or a Hydra is going to come out, and I need my my Clefable to live that. So I Calm Mind on the Latias Feigning, and I'm hoping that I can somehow live whatever Heatran throws at me. But unfortunately, the Sun actually kind of cucks me here, and puts me in range of Magma Storm. But that didn't really matter anyways, because he had Flash Cannon. So yeah, he says GG. It was a good game, I can't lie. Very unfortunate game with my Tangrowth. I really wanted that sleep on Heatran earlier. And I know I talked about this with Jester. He said he could have Healing Wished his Heatran. But then that means he doesn't actually have Latias to stop Keldeo from forcing Hydro Pumps like crazy. So definitely an unfortunate game for me. Like I said, there was a mistake I made with the Mew before. And I'm not going to deny that. That's how we grow as players, by seeing our own mistakes and, you know, acknowledging them is the first step. So while this game was super unfortunate for me, I definitely could have played a little better some turns. I definitely could have hit some Focus Blast and stuff too, but, you know, we got to look at the whole picture. So yeah, next game we have Lost versus Hori. Both bringing some pretty cool teams. You know, Hori's got Mega Gallade and Mr. Craw, and Lost is bringing some KB Zone Drag Mag offense. So let's get right into it. I don't think I've actually watched this game. So we got Scizor out, and he goes hard KB, and I'm guessing he goes KB on Zapdos. Yeah. It's Ice Beam damage into Clefable, takes the Life Orb chip, and goes right into Gliscor. Gets his Rocks up, which is good for him. Goes for the Earthquake, Toxics the Clef. And he's trying to get progress versus Clef, but I don't think the Clef's having it. The Superior comes in. It dodges. KB dodges, and it roosts. Clefable comes back out. Scizor comes back out. Holy. Lost goes for Defog, okay. And this Tyranitar on the HP Ice. Solid play. Did get very lucky with that Leaf Storm dodge and that KB. Should be dead, honestly. As Hori is trying to stall out Stone Edge, it looks like, with Roost, but he actually just goes to Excadrill. Probably for the best. Sword comes out, Roosts, and the Superpower KOs Excadrill. So far the game is looking really good for Lost. Now the Stone Edge check isn't really there, which is pretty nice. Heat Wave comes out from Zapdos. I'm not sure how Lost loses this. I would just Stone Edge again if I were him. Yep, does 66. 64, and now this has the Volt Switch. And Gallade comes out. Zapdos comes in, Gliscor comes out. As he goes for Rocks. Bolts into the Crawdon. Okay, this is kind of a bad trade. Not too bad, actually. You do want T-Tar to stay alive to hit that Clef for a lot of damage. But you did get Rocks up, you force Zapdos to Volt Switch, and now you still have Magnezone alive, which is pretty good. So, not bad at all for Lost, to be honest. Could be better. So here, yeah, you just go Magnezone, you Volt Switch, You go Scizor, Claw comes in, Volt Switch again with Zone, or Flash Cannon trying to damage that Superior. The Superior goes Rest. So I don't think going Gliscor on the Serp is the play. So let's see, KB. I want to go back because I want to see how much KB was taken from Serp at the beginning. So let's see. So Magnezone comes in, gets +2. So right. So since this is at 81 at that point in the game, I think. Sorry, let me just get back there. Is it here? Yes. So, yes, the Resto Chesto is very, very unexpected. I can't lie. That being said, though, you always go hard Kyurem here, right? Because Serp is going to do, what, like 18 to Kyurem at the beginning. And now you have an Ice Beam just to fire off. And you know he's not sub. So you're chilling, right? You just fire off Ice Beam. So he either has to go Clef and risk something, or you fire off Ice Beam and you're chilling. So, poorly played by Lost there, I think. Losing Gliscor was kind of bad, because you could have outstalled the Clef, I think. But, you know, it's whatever. Let's just rewatch. So, and then he goes for Scarf Thunderwave. And then here, shouldn't you actually sack Slowbro unless it's Calm Mind? Maybe he thinks he can win with Calm Mind, I don't know. So it is Calm Mind and a Healing Wish, okay. So yes, that's pretty unlucky, or whatever, but... So the Leaf Storm comes out. And so Lost should slack off here. He does not. Okay. So yes, the Healing Wish and the Resto Chesto were pretty unexpected. But there were some mistakes that could have been reversed. Not the best game by Lost, to be honest. I know I probably would have done the same thing. I'm not even gonna lie. I wouldn't have expected Rest or Healing Wish either. That being said, I don't think the Gliscor sack was necessary. I think just going hard Kyurem into Serp was much better. So, you know, that's just how it is. Next, we got a little cup game between my man Divine and pretty sus name there. I'm not sure I should say it. I'll call him Mr. Trouble for the sake of this. So anyways, we got pretty standard teams on both sides. Gothita with Shadow Tag is pretty big. Being able to trap Fungus or Mienfoo is pretty good here. So it doesn't look too good for Divine, but it is what it is. So they both lead off with Mienfoo. And they both knock off turn 1. I think Divine is knocking more because he's afraid of Gothita coming in on Fake Out. But I guess removing the EV Light is bad either. And then Divine wins Speed Tie between Mienfoo and kills his Mienfoo, which is really good for Divine, by the way. Getting that out of the way for Porygon is pretty huge. Of course, now his Mienfoo gets revenged, but I think Mr. Trouble's Mienfoo gone for Porygon, Onix, and Pawniard is much better than Divine's Mienfoo gone. Obviously, yes, it's good for Porygon to be gone. But Lost has other solutions in Pawniard, a little bit in Pawniard, Sporing Fungus, getting Rock's Chip with Onix, etc. So Pawniard comes out and pursues the Gothita, and the Gothita just dies, which is awesome. Now Timber comes out and Fungus comes in, knocking the Fungus, which sucks. And the Ice Punch comes out and kills Fungus. And the Snubble comes in. I think the Snubble should have come in first. Maybe I'm wrong. Power Punch gets decent damage into Fungus. And the Pawniard gets Spored. And then Porygon comes in and gets Download. Divine loses a Speed Tie with Porygon. Not great. Switches out of Porygon. Pawniard comes out. Onix comes in on Timber. Gets that Earthquake in there. And then Rock Blast. I'm not sure why Timber was brought out right here, but it was. I think that was kind of an unnecessary play. But it is what it is. Pawniard comes in. Gets another Sleep Turn, or the Sleep Turn burned. Stumble goes for the Intimidate. Stumble goes for Earthquake. Gets that recovery with the Berry Juice. Steals Fungus' Eviolite, which is pretty big actually. And comes back. Onyx comes out and Earthquakes. Opposing Onyx has Berry Juice. Divines boosts with weak armor, no longer making this a tie, which is good. Rock blasts the Fungus. The Fungus gets crit, but it only hits twice. Then Divine kills the Fungus with Iron Head, and you're like, ah, the Porygon still wins with Thunder Wave. But flinch. So Divine wins. Very good play. Or very good game, sorry. The flinch is not a good play, it's just random. But yeah, a good little cup game nonetheless. It's pretty entertaining. Yeah, I think the Timber Sack was a little unnecessary from NECA's side. Damn, I said it. But that being said, still a pretty good game. And we got an Ubers game between Joss and Jules. And Jules cowers in fear at the might of Joss 047's team and just forfeits. I'm just playing. Joss accidentally brought Ubers to UU. I don't know how his team let him do this. Whoever did that on his team is a resident seller. That's all I gotta say. Next we got Joey versus Shades. So Shades starts off with Aggron. The Aggron blocks the Swampert from switching out. Getting that Toxic in there, but the Swampert actually roars our Aggron out. Gligar comes in on Swampert, and the floor just comes in. Gligar goes for the Defog, and then U-turns on the Swampert. Then Blissey comes out, gets the rocks down for Shades. I think rocks for Shades are a little better since his team has a little bit more offensive pressure. Excuse me. And getting chip into stuff like Florges is really, and Empoleon is huge for Infernape and Gyarados. And to Blade as well. So the Heracross comes in, gets tossed, and he heals with leftovers. The Blade comes out, gets knocked. That's okay. So yeah, Shades gets some good damage into the team. Gyarados and Seismic Tossing. And now everything is pretty chipped for Infernape to go wild. So the Focus Blast comes out from Florius. And then kills Florges with Overheat. Very good play for Shades. Getting rid of Florges is pretty good for the Blissey to actually force damage as well. Hydreigon comes out and Shades immediately goes Aggron, which is good. Gets U-turned, not a big deal. Empoleon comes out, knocks the Blissey. It gets roared into Infernape, and Infernape drops a Blast. So a super good, super lucky roar for Shades, but you know, Infernape is bound to come in and beat something. So Infernape gets pursued, does a good amount of damage. So Infernape can come in again if Shades defogs, which he can pretty freely here. He U-turns, gets Blissey in instead, then decides to get Gligar again. He really values probably getting Infernape back out. Sacks to Blade, and then goes back in Infernape. And this Overheat is killing anything besides Hydreigon. But he can't risk Hydreigon because of Focus Blast as well. So I totally understand Joey going Swampert there. Goes for Dragon Dance. Aggron comes out. Blissey comes out. Stealth Rock on that Beedrill. Aggron comes out again. Then Gligar. And then we get some U-turn action. And Gyarados should DD here. Probably just stays. Unfortunately gets flinched. Misses bounce. The Drill Run misses into Blissey. I think that's pretty big, but it is what it is. The Aggron rests. And he wakes up and goes for Heavy Slam on that Heracross. I'm surprised plus 2 CC doesn't kill. If it was Guts, it would have, but alas, it's not. So Shades wins pretty cleanly. I think he played really well getting damage into stuff like Swampert and Florges early. That way Infernape didn't struggle too much. And then, of course, killing Swampert there. Some people are like, oh, Joey should win Hydreigon. Absolutely not. Hydreigon is a potential win condition with Dark Pulse. If Shades loses Blissey, it's actually a very good win condition. So Joey definitely made the right play by not stacking Hydreigon there, potentially. I know he wouldn't have sacked it because of Infernape actually clicking Overheat, but Joey was right not to even risk it. So a very well played game by both. Shades definitely had the matchup in his favor. So yeah, very well played to both players. Then we got Clash versus the Conman. So you'll see why I don't like this game. Anyways, Tornadus leads off. Clash doesn't know it's revealed, so obviously switches out of Steelix into Rotom Heat, which is probably a more consistent check. Raikou Volt switches out of Rotom Heat, getting some good damage to start, and then the Mr. Shuckle comes in. So both players trade rocks here, or trade webs and rocks, sorry. He encores the Tentacruel. Oh, yeah, the Blastoise takes a ton of damage. But Condor spins, Tentacruel comes in, and the Haxorus goes for Dragon Dance. I think you could have Earthquake there, especially since, what is it called? Clash switched out. That Earthquake would have been huge, even into Hydreigon. Because let me calc actually, does that kill Hydreigon? Would that have been a mom dead right there? Hydreigon being gone for Condor is actually really good. Like, look at fucking Scarf Draco versus his team, bro. Like, you need that thing gone. Let's go Haxorus versus motherfucking Hydreigon. I think this is Adamant Elo. So I actually don't know if it kills, but so there's a chance. But still, I mean, getting damage into that would have been huge too. Especially if you set rocks up later. The Raikou comes in, and Torn comes in. U-turns on the Steelix for a tiny, tiny bit of damage. Shuckle comes out, gets slammed, and now rocks can't come up. Blastoise comes out, spins. Tornadus knocks. Flurries goes for Acrobatics. Drops the Torn, gets Defiant, Crazy, and then Citrus Berry. And then the Acrobatics kills, what is it called, Tentacle. Hydreigon goes for U-turn. Tornadus goes back out. Knock off. Nice. And Raikou goes for Signal Beam, sorry. Tornadus can't do anything. Haxorus kills this, but then Floor gets Revenges. And it just is too much to Porygon. You're praying for a freeze here, but alas, we don't get it. So I think Condor, what he should have done was that turn when he had the +1 versus Steelix, just Earthquaking there is really good. Getting a pretty much guaranteed kill onto something would have been nice. Just something there would have been good. Maybe he should have gotten his own rocks up with Shuckle over webs. Because his faster threats, Hydreigon and Rotom Heat, aren't even hit by webs. You definitely want to chip Reuniclus. Reuniclus doesn't take rocks, I'm sorry. Florges and Tentacruel, and potentially even Steelix. That 5% of it just coming in definitely adds up. So getting those rocks up early would have been huge. I know Tentacruel has Rapid Spin, but, and you can see that Clash didn't even really care about the webs, so he didn't spin. So yeah. Sorry, the boy is really tired, but I did need to finish this video. I had to get to some work. So yeah, it's gonna be a little short on the shorter end. Not too many good games this week, in my opinion. Did I do all of them that I tried to do? Let me see. Is there one I missed, maybe? Because it felt like there was more. No, that was all of them I remembered. Well, anyways, thank you guys for watching. I know this probably wasn't the best of the videos, probably the lowest of them. But, thanks for your support and watching nonetheless. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys for the week 5.